The night was cold. A strong wind moved through the dark forests of North America. Somewhere far away, a small wooden ship slowly crossed the dangerous Atlantic Ocean. Inside that ship, hungry men, crying children, and terrified families prayed to survive. They did not know that one day, the land in front of them would become the most powerful country on earth, the United States of America. But this story is not only about freedom, it is also about war, blood, greed, dreams, and dark truths hidden deep inside history. Because behind every great empire, there is pain, and America was no different. Cinematic pause. The year was 1492. A man named Christopher Columbus crossed the ocean searching for a new route, but instead, he opened the door to a completely new world. For thousands of years before Europeans arrived, millions of native people already lived across the land. They had families, cultures, traditions, and powerful civilizations. But when Europe, settlers arrived, everything changed. Slowly, the strangers from across the sea wanted more land, more power, more control, and the peaceful world of native tribes started breaking apart. Villages burned, diseases spread, entire communities disappeared forever. The land that once belonged to native people slowly turned into colonies controlled by England. But even inside those colonies, life was hard, very hard. People worked day and night. Farmers struggled to survive. Families lived in fear. And the British government controlled almost everything. Taxes became heavier. Anger became stronger. The people felt trapped. Then one day, everything exploded. Boston. The harbor was dark and silent. A group of angry colonists quietly moved through the night, their faces hidden, their hearts full of rage. They climbed onto British ships and threw hundreds of tea boxes into the cold ocean. The water turned black with floating tea. This moment became famous in his Tory, the Boston Tea Party. And it was not only about tea, it was a message, a warning. The people were done being controlled. War was coming. Cinematic transition. Gunshots echoed through the streets. Smoke filled the air. Neighbors became soldiers overnight. Farmers picked up weapons. Young boys left home. Mothers cried while saying goodbye to sons who would never return. This was the American Revolution, one of the most dangerous moments in history. Against them stood the mighty British Empire, the strongest power in the world. Most people believed the Americans would lose quickly. But something powerful lived inside them. Hope, the dream of freedom. And leading that dream was a man named George Washington. Winter came. Snow covered the camps. Soldiers had no food, no shoes, no warm clothes. Some wrapped bloody cloth around their frozen feet. Many died from sickness. Others died from hunger. But still, they refused to quit. Because sometimes, the wrongest weapon is not a gun, it is belief. Finally, after years of war, America won. In 1776, the American Revolutionary War changed the world forever. A new nation was born, the United States of America. People celebrated in the streets. Church bells rang loudly. Families cried tears of joy. For the first time, America was free. But freedom did not solve everything. In fact, some of the darkest chapters were still waiting. Cinematic pause. As America grew bigger, a terrible system also grew stronger. Slavery. Millions of African men, women, and children were captured and forced onto ships, chained together, treated worse than animals. Many died before even reaching America. Those who survived were sold like objects. Families were separated forever. Children cried for mothers they would never see again. And all of this happened while America spoke proudly about freedom. It was a dark contradiction, a painful truth hidden inside the country's rise. Huge RMs in the South became rich through slave labor. Meanwhile, factories in the North started growing fast. America was becoming stronger. Cities expanded. Railroads stretched across the land. Immigrants arrived from around the world hoping for a better life. But underneath the growth, a storm was building. The country was dividing. North against South, freedom against slavery, brother against brother. Then finally, the storm exploded. The American Civil War began. It became one of the deadliest wars in history. Americans killed Americans. Fields turned into graveyards. The sound of screaming soldiers filled the air. Entire towns disappeared. Young men marched proudly into battle and returned home inside coffins, or never returned at all. Leading the country during this nightmare was Abraham Lincoln, a quiet man with tired eyes. He carried the pain of an entire nation on his shoulders. Lincoln believed slavery had to end, but the war nearly destroyed America. Every victory came with terrible loss. Every battle left thousands dead. Then came one of the darkest nights. April 14, 1865. People gathered inside a theater. They laughed. They smiled. For a moment, the war finally seemed over. Then suddenly, a gunshot. President Lincoln collapsed. Panic exploded inside the theater. America's leader was dead. The entire nation cried. Some people could not even believe it. The man who helped save the country was gone forever, but his dream survived. Slavery officially ended, and America slowly began rebuilding itself. Cinematic transition. The late 1800s. America entered a new age. Factories covered the cities. Huge machines roared day and night. Smoke darkened the skies. Rich businessmen became more powerful than kings. Men like John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie built giant business empires. Money flooded through the country. Skyscrapers rose into the clouds. Railroads connected distant lands. But while some believe, aim incredibly rich, others suffered terribly. Workers spent endless hours inside dangerous factories. Children worked instead of going to school. Poor families lived inside crowded, dirty neighborhoods. America was becoming powerful, but not everyone shared the dream equally. Still, millions continued arriving from Europe. They came with hope in their eyes, a better future, a new beginning. And standing proudly in New York Harbor was Statue of Liberty, a symbol of hope, a symbol of freedom. For immigrants arriving after painful journeys, seeing the statue felt magical. Some cried with happiness. Some kissed the ground after stepping onto American soil. Because America promised something powerful, opportunity. But sometimes, dreams can also become illusions. Cinematic pause. Then came the 1900s. The world was changing faster than ever. Cars raced through streets. Movies filled theaters. Jazz music echoed through cities. America looked unstoppable. But darkness was waiting. The stock market crashed. Within hours, fortunes disappeared. Banks collapsed. Businesses closed. Millions lost everything. Families stood in bread lines just to eat. Parents cried secretly at night because they could not feed their children. This became known as the Great Depression, one of the hardest times in American history. People who once lived comfortably suddenly became homeless. Fear spread everywhere. Then across the ocean, another danger was rising. A man named Adolf Hitler was building a deadly empire in Europe. Soon, the world entered another nightmare, World War II. At first, America stayed out of the war. But on December 7, 1941, everything changed. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor shocked the nation. Explosions destroyed ships. Smoke covered the skies. Thousands died. America entered the war. Young men once again left home for battle. Mothers held their sons tightly before goodbye. Many feared they would never return. The war became brutal. Soldiers fought across beaches, forests, deserts, and frozen lands. Death followed them everywhere. But finally, after years of destruction, the Allies won. And America emerged stronger than ever before. The country became a global superpower. But victory came with another terrifying moment. America dropped atomic bombs on Japan. Entire cities disappeared within seconds. The world entered the nuclear age. Humanity now had the power to destroy itself completely. Cinematic transition. After the war, America entered a golden age. Televisions filled homes. Families bought cars. Huge suburbs appeared across the country. Hollywood became the center of global entertainment. The Walt Disney Company created magical dreams for children. Rock music changed culture forever. The American dream looked alive. But once again, there was a hidden truth. Racism still existed deeply inside the country. Black Americans continued facing discrimination, violence, and unfair treatment. Many could not vote freely. Many lived in fear. Then brave voices began rising. One of those voices belonged to Martin Luther King Jr., a man with a dream where people would not be judged by skin color. Millions marched for civil rights. Some protesters were attacked, some were arrested, some were killed. But the movement changed America forever. Slowly, laws began changing. Hope returned again. But peace never lasted long. The Cold War began. America and the Soviet Union became dangerous rivals. The fear of nuclear war haunted the world. Children practiced nuclear attack drills in schools. People built shelters underground. Everyone feared one mistake could end humanity forever. Then came the Vietnam War, another painful chapter. Young American soldiers entered jungles far from home. Many returned broken emotionally. Others never returned at all. Back home, people protested against the war. The country became divided once again. America looked powerful from the outside, but inside, it was struggling deeply. Cinematic pause. Then came technology. Computers changed everything. A young man named Bill Gates helped start a computer revolution. Another dreamer named Steve Jobs transformed technology forever. The internet connected the world. America entered a new digital age. The country became richer, stronger, more influential. Movies, music, fashion, technology. America's culture spread everywhere. But history had another shocking moment waiting. September 11th, 2001. A beautiful morning suddenly turned into horror. Hijacked planes crashed into the World Trade Center towers. Fire exploded across the sky. People screamed while running through smoke-covered streets. The towers collapsed before the eyes of the world. Thousands died. The entire planet watched in shock. America changed forever after 9/11. Fear returned. Wars began again. Security became tighter. Apple no longer felt safe the same way. But even after tragedy, America continued moving forward, because survival became part of its identity. Cinematic transition. Today, the United States stands as one of the most powerful countries on Earth. Its military is enormous. Its movies influence billions. Its companies shape global technology. Places like Apple Incorporated, Google, and Microsoft changed modern life forever. But America still faces many struggles: political division, gun violence, economic inequality, racism, fear, anger. Some people still chase the American dream. Others believe that dream is slowly dying. And maybe that is what makes America so fascinating. It is not a perfect story. It never was. It is a story filled with greatness and pain, hope and darkness, freedom and contradiction, a nation built by dreamers, but also shaped by war, sacrifice, and suffering. Cinematic pause. And yet, every year, millions still look toward America with hope. Why? Because despite all its flaws, America represents possibility. The idea that life can change, that a poor child can become successful, that immigrants can build new futures, that broken people can rise again. And maybe that is the true story of the United States. Not perfection, but survival. A country that kept falling and kept standing back up again and again and again. Final cinematic scene. The camera slowly rises above New York City at night. Lights shine across endless streets. Cars move like rivers of fire. The American flag waves quietly in the cold wind. Somewhere, a child dreams of a better future. Somewhere else, another family struggles to survive. The story continues. Because America is not just a country. It is an unfinished story. And the next chapter has not been written yet. Fade to black. One nation built by dreams and haunted by its own history.